up to potentially waking up to potentially losing their job because of a decision that just got on last night. As a matter of fact, last night, where the Supreme Court basically said the Trump administration can go ahead and start firing, laying off from a massive scale federal employees. So if you're a federal employee right now and you are trying to figure out how this impacts you, just reach out to me because I can help, kind of help you with the anxiety that you're dealing with right now. I can help give you a plan that you can kind of start working on, okay? Because the Fork Reskilling HQ was meant just for a moment like this. I laid it out to help anybody that's losing a job, but I actually started the channel to help federal workers, okay? And it's so unfortunate that this is happening right now. Okay, in case you don't know who I am, I'm the founder of the Fork Reskilling HQ. I have over 20 plus years of service, both as an officer and a civilian. So right now I'm taking a deep sabbatical to take care of my health because certain things have been happening that I wanted to kind of help myself take care of. So, but in any case, this news get laid off. Well, in a situation where you're gonna get laid off, well, you were just gonna sit there and get laid off? That's what you were gonna do? Did you really think people were gonna care about you? You're the chosen one. But do me a quick favor before I get off this live. I want you all to know that I've put some resources to help you all in the whole process. And this resource is for select individuals. Look at this stupid driver. It's for select individuals that are trying to figure out exactly what to do, right? So what do you do and how do you maneuver in this environment? Okay? People be like, it'll be all right. No, it's not gonna be all right. It's not gonna be all right when you suddenly find yourself having to compete for jobs, okay, on these streets. It's hard. The hustle is real, folks. The hustle is real, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't already have a plan on what you're gonna do, I hate to break this news to you because it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse because a lot of people were not planning for this stuff. They were sitting there and thinking everything was gonna be good. But I also want to let you know that this is probably a big part of the big beautiful bill. That's probably what was the impetus for the court to do this. Because you remember, they were already saying they were going to lay off people. They already were saying they were going to lay off a whole bunch of folks. And now that the big beautiful bill, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, okay, has passed Congress, they're looking at their numbers for fiscal year 2025. They're looking at those numbers, and these agencies have been told to make and submit their plans for massive layoffs. I'm going to repeat this again. These agencies have been told to submit their plans for massive layoffs. And this is a layoff. Hey, Darren, Kenan, thank you. How you doing? This is one of those layoffs that you've never seen before. Because a lot of people have been talking about how, you know what, it's not going to be that bad. It's that bad. And it's going to be massive. Okay? The thing about it is a lot of people were basically not getting ready for such a situation. They were thinking, everything was going to be good. I got my job, I got my cushy job, I can travel when I want to travel. Well, guess what? You can't travel anymore because the administration also want to cut off your credit cards. What that means, you can't go TY, you can't get no per diem, and basically you're stuck. Some people want to get out of these jobs, but so they came up with this DRP 1.0 and they lie to people. They say, yeah, don't worry, we're going to need you because you're important. They lie to folks. And internally, within this agencies, they thought the Trump administration was playing with them. I was like, you know what? You're playing around too much. The administration is not playing. And the Supreme Court is on their side. And you've seen it time and time again. They've gotten the decisions that they wanted. So what made you think, if you're a federal worker, that you could have been sitting on the sidelines and things were going to be okay with you? Do me a quick favor, when you join this live, tap the like button for me. When you do that, it's going to allow more people to come so we can have this conversation, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. Do you think the federal workers need to be gutted like they're about to right now? Do you think the massive layoff in the federal workspace is more than required, or do you think it's about right? Do you think the projections for about 107,000 federal workers getting laid off in fiscal year 2026 is good, or do you think it's bad? I don't know. Drop your comments somewhere in the chat below. Drop your comment in the chat. In this live, you're more than welcome. If you're a federal worker or know a federal worker that's possibly looking to get laid off and they don't know what to do, you know, type me in the chat so I can reach out to you and try to help you in this situation. Because again, it takes a village. It takes a village. And the reason it takes a village is some people don't realize that until it's too late. Some people don't realize that when they don't work together to try to tackle the situations or the problems that they find themselves in, they're going to be in a world of hurt, where you're going to have less people, but the jobs that you're supposed to do are not changing. Your tasks are going to be the same. All right? And so now is the time to start thinking about your situation, folks. Now is the time to start saying, hey, do I have the skill set to be a civilian? It is brutal in the civilian space. Don't think you can roll up to work whenever you want and spend the next 35 minutes talking about what you did over the weekend, you know, talking about sports. That's all you do when you sit at this, when you go to these offices. People ain't working. They're showing up late to work. They're on the internet, surfing the internet, watching sports, watching football, basketball. And that's not all. You have some of these federal workers actually using the government computers to go shopping. Don't be looking like that, because it happens. They're shopping on the internet. So now the administration said all that shit's got to stop. It's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. Don't get me even started with that, because a lot of people working in that federal space are corrupt. They're so corrupt they don't even know when to quit. They don't know when to quit. If you ask me, they probably need to be forced into retirement. That's the only way they're gonna get out of there, because they're the same people that were lying to the folks that were looking to get out, telling them, oh no, we need you so you can keep lying to folks, right? It's coming. The chicken, is that how you say? The chicken are coming to roost. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it right now, because, again, like I said, y'all saw this was going to happen, and nobody raised their hands to say, hey, this is not right. Nobody raised their hand. Everybody was like, oh, it's going to be okay. Do you really think they're going to let all these people go? Yes, they are going to let all these people go, including you if you're a federal worker and you ain't did a damn thing since February of this year, when those DRP 1.0 started, and then they started another DRP in April. And then for the folks that wanted to actually get out, those agencies were lying to them folks. They let some people go. Okay, they said, oh yeah, we're gonna pay you some money. You can take you can just chill out till September 2025, and then that's it. So that's what I want to know. Okay, how hard was it for people to make their own decision? They couldn't. They were stuck. All right, they were stuck, and they were looking for somebody to help them, and they couldn't go to their supervisors. You know why? Because they had them sign what's called a non-disclosure agreement. A non-disclosure agreement basically saying, we know what we're going to do to these workers, but we don't want you to tell them. We don't want you to tell them, because it's probably not good for them to know what we're going to do. That created a lot of anxiety, folks. Uncertainty. And then a toxic work environment. Because I'm dealing with that stuff, folks. Yeah. I didn't have time for that stuff to be toyed around and, because tell me, how the hell were you going to concentrate on work when people are lying to you, scheming and planning and not doing right? How are you guys supposed to concentrate on work? When people around you, all they do is talk about sports. They ain't trying to work. When you tell them, oh, there's a barbecue we're going to go to, they're all up in the barbecue. They ain't doing no work. And the folks that got some of these jobs were the real DEI. I'm telling you, a lot of people in federal government, the people you think are DEI are not who they are. Okay? Go do your research. The real DEIs that got these jobs, that were over people hoping somebody's going to do their jobs, all the ones that are probably going to lose their job right now. The real ones that were hanging around, they thought they got rid of other DEIs. Them real DEIs going to lose their jobs. That's what's about to happen. Because the administration knows the real deal. If you remember when they came to power the first time, they were going to drain the swamp. Who do you think the swamp was? Who do you think the deep state is? All right? The swamp, the deep state, whatever you call it. They're the federal workers. All right? It's sad that it came to that, but that's really what's going on. The deep state, the swamp, all of that stuff is the same folks. All right? Same folks. So what I want you to do right now is tell me exactly, if you know a federal worker, or if you're friends with a federal worker, do you think they can survive in this competitive economy? Even if they think they can survive, that they have the requisite skills to survive? I don't know. I just think right now it's one of those times a cop just pulled a motorcyclist. He probably is going to have a bad day. Nice bike too. I think it's going to be one of the craziest things you're going to see this year, where on the one hand, agencies like DHS and ICE are getting a lot of funding. On the other hand, you got a bunch of other agencies that got to do what they call massive layoffs. As a matter of fact, I also heard that some of these agencies were being told to start volunteering some of their folks to go help out in the border. All right? So I don't know to what extent that is happening, but right now I do know for a fact that this SCOTUS decision, okay, this SCOTUS decision is going to wreak havoc. Okay? It's going to wreak havoc for two reasons. The first reason is a lot of people don't understand what it takes to get a job in the federal space. It takes a lot to get a job in the federal space. When you couple that with the fact that they're actually also now changing the requirements to stay employed in the federal space, you can see why it's gonna be hard to attract the right people, the right qualified people, to risk it, to want to have a career in federal space. The days of having a career in the federal space, to me, are gone. They are completely gone, kaput. All right? They've gone vamoose. So what that means then is you probably need to start thinking really hard to the possibility that you may never get what used to be a 20-year, 30-year, long career in the federal space. And that's what people were relying on, having these careers, 20 plus years or more careers. What is this? Okay? They were relying on that. And I don't see that happening in the federal space anymore. I gotta get out of this traffic. All right. I have to get out of that traffic. It was just like a mess. All right, but anyway, I significantly doubt that people are going to be having careers anymore in the federal space. I guess this is going to slow down for a little bit, but I'm good. Yeah, I got this. I got this. Oh yeah, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay. But anyway, so what I was talking about is I significantly doubt that people are going to have the careers that they thought they were going to have in the federal space for two reasons. The first reason is it takes a lot of time to actually get a job, and you got to be qualified. But the other thing that I think has been hurting a lot of folks is that you got an entrenched deep state. They're always doing what I call favoritism. Let me see what this message is. I don't know what this shit, man. I'm gonna hide it. Okay. All right. The deep state has been manipulating who they want to get these jobs in the federal space. So from that perspective, if it's gonna be fair competition, let's have it. But what I've realized in this whole process, having seen it up close and personal, the advantages and disadvantages of being in the federal space. Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention, but I'm also gonna do this live. Okay. Thank you for your concern. Do me one quick favor while you're concerned with me. Smash the like button so I can get more engagement. So so I can pay more attention to the road. Thank you. But in all honesty, I think it's been a while since you've seen this level of disruption. Now, people went back and said, well, the Supreme Court, when they made their decisions, it also included such decisions in the Clinton era that they got rid of a bunch of federal workers, yada, yada, yada. But that's not the same. Because this is like in your face, if you get what I mean. It's in your face, and people are like feeling the pain. Okay? They're feeling the pain, but some of these folks don't want to like admit that they're feeling the pain. They want to give you the impression that everything is okay, ain't nothing going wrong. We are gonna be basically achieving what we've put our mind to achieve. But let me ask you this question: is that really true? Is that really true that Sean S? You can chime in if you want to, right? Is it true that the goals of getting the federal workspace was properly placed? Was it the right goal, or was it something that people just came up with just to make folks feel bad or to make other people feel good? Okay, you heard about draining the swamp. During the first term, they talked a lot about draining the swamp. But my question is, was the swamp really there? Okay, was it akin to alligator Alcatraz? I don't know. But I want you to kind of tell me exactly what you think right now. Do you really think that the federal workspace and the civilians were lazy? Forget about past tense. Let's talk about present tense. Are the federal workers lazy? Have they exhibited the propensity to talk about like sports at the job when they should be working? Have they exhibited the propensity to go shopping using government equipment? Is it any wonder now that they are trying to literally cut off their credit cards? They're saying, hey, we're not going to let you go shopping anymore on our expense. We're not going to let you go TDY. They're trying to tell them, hey, look, you're getting no per diem. No more per diem. I'm sorry. Okay? Because you know what? Your per diem wasn't helping with the mission. And I tell you, there's been a bunch of abuses, and don't get me started with this so-called OIG people. You know how the administration came through and fired a whole bunch of them? They weren't doing any freaking oversight. They weren't doing any oversight. They liked to make it look like they're doing something. They're looking to get the performance audit right, but they weren't doing nothing. And I've been saying that for a while, that these folks, been lying. They've been lying, but they still had a job. They've been lying, but they didn't know how to kind of understand the importance of their roles and responsibility. So then it begs the question, when exactly were people going to wake up to this? That's, in my mind, I think that's why you need strong leadership. Okay? I don't care what people say about the current administration. I think from a leadership perspective, they've been exhibiting strong leadership. They said, okay, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to do it, and we're going to fight to be able to achieve our objectives. And they've been doing it. Okay? Unlike some people that are promising you, we're going to protect you, but they weren't really doing anything. I'm talking about the previous administration. And a lot of people, pinned their hopes that things were going to get better under the previous administration. They pinned their hopes that, they were going to get the jobs that they wanted. And what happened? They let the floodgates open. They let all kinds of people show up here that basically, according to what people are saying, we're taking the resources away from the folks that were supposed to be enjoying the resources. So it begs the question, something had to give. Type yes in the chat if you think something had to give, and that's why this Coto's decision is not only going to be far-reaching, it's going to impact to what extent the federal workspace can be built out again, okay? So type yes in the chat if you believe that. Because right now I'm thinking, now is probably the best time to start exploring what it is that you want to do. But the question is, do you have the requisite skills? Here at the Fork Reskilling HQ, I've been helping people level up with themselves by showing them exactly how they can internalize the skills that they have, okay? Number one. Number two, project out where they want to maneuver. In other words, what kind of a career do they think that they're going to be able to achieve if they were able to go to a different career field, right? And on top of that, I've also been encouraging some people that have been stuck in the federal bureaucracy to start thinking outside the box, because a lot of people just don't know how to think outside the box. In their mind, they think, well, way back when, 30 years ago, we used a software named COBOL. So that's how I'm going to solve this problem. I don't know what Chat GPT is, so I ain't using no Chat GPT. You dig what I'm saying? And that's been the problem. A lot of people, have been stuck in the wrong mindset. And when you try to get them to level up and do something for themselves, they don't do that. They're busy worrying about all this stuff. They're busy thinking about somebody is out to get them. They're busy worrying about the next barbecue. They're busy worrying about the next birthday party. Give me a break. The barbecues, the birthday parties, and all this stuff. Is that why you were sent to work for the American people? Is it any wonder now that this new set of folks in government look at this bureaucratic largesse and thinking it's time to cut these jobs? Is it any wonder now where even the Supreme Court, in all actuality, who themselves are federal workers, were able to side with the current administration, giving them the authority to go ahead and start firing out these federal workers? Is it any wonder then that some of these federal workers have been sitting on these jobs for 20, 30, 40 years, refuse to leave their positions? Okay, so now something has got to give. Something has got to give. Do me one quick favor. Tap the like button again. Again, I'm meandering through this traffic so I can go to a safe spot so I can walk. Because I'm going to get my walking in today. I don't care. There's a lot of people that are mad that they're about to lose their jobs. There's a lot of people that don't understand they could have been doing better. They never took any risk. They were comfortable. 9 to 5 job, which again, I don't have any problem with doing 9 to 5, but you got to be taking risk in the midst of it. You got to be planning long term, because don't ever assume that anything is given. And that's where a lot of people make the biggest mistake. They assume that everything is given. And I've also been talking to some of the up-and-coming young folks that are looking to basically start a career. They're graduating. As a matter of fact, a lot of people graduated already, and they're looking to start new careers. And retirement, as we used to know it, is over with, folks. Retirement, as we used to know it, is over with. And I hate to break this news. It's over with. And people have been sitting around thinking, oh yeah, everything is going to be good. I don't think everything's going to be good. I think all hell is going to break loose. The reason I say all hell is going to break loose is because people are sick and tired of the same old. People are sick and tired of folks lying to them. People are sick and tired of having poor leadership. People are sick and tired of fraud, waste, and abuse. All right? So yeah, there's going to be cuts. There's going to be massive cuts. I'm not championing the way it's been handled, but when you really think about it, it appears that these cuts are necessary. These cuts are necessary because you have a whole bureaucracy of folks that be sitting around shopping on the internet, watching Facebook at work, watching YouTube. In fact, I remember working somewhere where I go to work in the morning, and these folks, I think they're like contractors, they got the damn TV, what they call that thing? The computer watching fucking YouTube. Did I pay you to come watch YouTube at the government's expense? That's what I'm talking about, folks. So I don't know how to break the news that this is gonna be an eye-opener. All right? Now people are blaming the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, hashtag OBBBA, for some of the issues that's happening right now. But I really don't think the OBBA is responsible for it. I really think the responsibility rests in the hands of the people that actually refused to do what they needed to do to make sure that they took care of themselves. They refused to do what they needed to do to make sure that their constituents were covered. They refused to do what they needed to do to make sure that in 2025, July, for that matter, that they knew exactly what needed to happen. All right? And because they refuse to do that, we stand at the precipice of something massive. We stand at the intersection of something unheard of. Okay? On the one hand, you have people losing their jobs. And I'm talking about, I'm downtown Tampa, Florida right now, and I'm seeing a lot of what they call these folks, city workers. Okay? They're going to job. They're going to work. It's like 7:21 a.m. People like to go to work at this point. You know, fighting through traffic. You know, Sean, you told me to be safe. I was fighting through Tampa traffic so I can get to a safe spot so I can go walking, so I can relieve some of my anxiety that I've been dealing with since February. I had to run away from my job. Okay? Because these folks did not realize what they were doing. They thought it was a joke. But now, everything has come to a crescendo. This is exactly what I was talking about that was going to happen. This is exactly what I was warning folks about, that there will be massive layoffs. There will be job cuts. All right? There will be efficiencies. So guess what? Well, in the midst of it, these efficiencies are going to happen. Okay? The cuts are going to happen. But you got to ask yourself, why are they happening? Okay, why are you about to lose your well, let me tell you something about federal workers. They make $100,000 plus. If you've been there for a while, you're making six figures, folks. Oh yeah, that doesn't even include the bonuses or the per diem and the TDY that they go to, and they're about to cut off those cards. They say you ain't going no TDY no more. Oh, no. No more TDY. Because you've been abusing that shit. You know you have been abusing it. If it's not you directly, you know somebody that's been abusing the TDY. Taking trips that they weren't supposed to take. Pretending they were going to go somewhere. Going to some... Y'all heard about that conference they had in Las Vegas where they were just acting a fool? That don't bode well for when American people that are struggling every day, trying to do the best they can, see that nonsensical stuff happening. Did you expect them to support that? Of course not. So now we'll find ourselves in the situation we'll find ourselves. All right? And so I'd like to know your thoughts. I know I've been kind of rambling on for a little bit. I want to know what you think. Do you think now that the Supreme Court has given the Trump administration the go-ahead for a massive federal layoff, do you think it's the right thing to do? Do you think that these federal workers are lazy? If they're lazy, what do you recommend that they do? If they're not lazy, how are they going to help themselves in this process? I'd like to know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And oh, by the way, I've left a few resources in the description of this video below. Tap into those resources to know exactly what you need to be doing right now. If you're a worker, I don't care if you're a federal worker, because even Microsoft is laying off a lot of people, okay? The corporate world is also following what the federal space is doing. So if you need help, just reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Tell you the same processes that I've been taking to level up with myself, the same processes I've been taking to know exactly what I need to be doing in a chaotic situation like this, okay? I'm more than happy to share that with you, okay? And if you need one-on-one coaching, reach out to me, because I'm taking some new clients right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be posting the links to my coaching calendar somewhere in the description of this video below. Click it and get with me while I get ready to go do my walking, okay? I may come back live again and do while I walk, okay? Because this is something that is essential for my spirit. And I recommend you do that also, okay? Because it's going to be good for your spirit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be talking to you.